Ladies and gentlemen, I feel like I sold Burl Ives a little bit short. I feel like I didn't give him his due by analyzing his lyrics that followed Silver and Gold. This is important to me. I haven't been able to stop thinking of this since yesterday's show. On my 4-mile walk, I was reviewing the lyrics of Silver and Gold, the song on the famous television show Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I was trying to say that humans just like to look at gold, and Burl Ives, as the voice of the snowman, who was announcing the great blizzard that almost ended Christmas, and the blizzard that indeed ended up introducing Rudolph to a troubled world. I didn't go far enough, and I have to get this off my chest before I move on in the Revelation series. Burl Ives, as you remember, sings Silver and Gold. It's silver and gold, silver and gold. And then he says this, everyone wishes for silver and gold. Already did that part, but now listen to the next line, because I think this illustrates a principle of the New Jerusalem. How do we measure its worth? Just by the pleasure it brings here on earth. I exaggerated it a little bit. I like to put the little flourishes in there. But did you hear that? How do we measure its worth? Just by the pleasure it brings here on earth. See, the pleasure it brings. So it's not that they're staring at the thing itself as though it were the Hope Diamond in a museum. And I referenced the squirrel, the little animals, and the chipmunks and the bunnies in the Rudolph animated show. And they're playing with the baubles of silver and gold. But they're getting pleasure out of it. And look, this goes right along with what Mr. Knock writes in The Unveiling of Jesus Christ on page 553. Listen to this. As we are told that the city has no need of luminaries, such as the sun and the moon, we are constrained to translate Folster, which that's a Greek word there, Folster, P-H-O-S-T-E-R. I don't have my glasses on. I'm having trouble, sorry. Which usually means luminary, luminosity. So they're translating this word luminosity, which they would ordinarily translate luminary. And I like this because a luminary is like a star, something you stare at, but luminosity is the pleasure that we get from looking at this thing. The city has the glory of God. That was my point yesterday, right? The city has the glory of God. Her luminosity is like a stone most precious as a crystalline jasper gem. The key here is luminosity. And the key is that the city has the glory of God. We are reminded that the enthroned one looked like a jasper stone and a carnelian looked like a jasper stone. Don't get excited. God is not a jasper stone. Though scintillating with many colored gems as a whole, it is suffused with a verdant light, the hue of peace and repose. Mr. Knock loves the alliteration, and so do I. Listen to this. The hue, suffused, mind you, with a verdant light, the hue of peace and repose. It shimmers like a star, blessing the beholder with its beams. There's more of that great alliteration. Blessing the beholder with its beams. Just by the pleasure it brings here on the new earth. Yes, I would write a new Rudolph show, and it would be the new earth. And Rudolph would guide the sleigh of Santa as he lands on the new earth. But on the new earth, there will be no island of misfit toys. That would be the millennium. There'd still be some misfit toys on the millennium, in the millennial earth. I dare say that this eon is just riddled with misfit toys. I would say I just came up with another name for the current wicked eon, Galatians 1:4, the island of misfit toys. We have Charlie in the boxes instead of Jack in the boxes. We have choo-choos with square wheels. We have fish that can't swim. We have polka-dotted elephants, dolls that don't go boo-hoo, Who? It's terrible. But Santa is coming to rescue all the misfits. Jesus Christ is coming for the unwise, weak, ignoble, and stupid. If you are a choo-choo with square wheels, congratulations. Speaking of Rudolph, I noticed my hair today looks a little like Hermie, the elf, who wanted to be a dentist. I want to be a dentist. What? His boss at the elf shop could not believe that he wanted to be a dentist. You want to be a what? I want to be a dentist. He ends up pulling the teeth of the bumble. Remember. And he imitates a pig. Oink, oink, oink. Tricks the bumble into coming out of his cave. And then he extricates all his teeth. Donald Trump dropped the mother of all bombs, the Moab, which it's actually an acronym for something different than mother of all bombs, but that's the common term for a weapon that is just a hair short of a nuclear bomb. It sounds like I'm excited about it. Well, I am. I told you after the Syrian strikes at the airport, I said it's the harbinger of bigger things. I said watch for more. Didn't I say that? Go back to the show. It's called the show called Syrian Strikes, Harbinger of Bigger Things, or something like that. And I said there was going to be more. A week later, boom, boom. The Moab demolishes an underground tunnel system of Islamic terrorists. And this is a good thing. I told you we were going to crush Islam under a president who had the nerve, the stomach, and the heart for it. And that is Donald J. Trump. It would not have been Hillary Clinton. It definitely was not Barack Obama. No heart for it. But Trump is sending a message, you see, to everyone that we're not going to put up with any crap anymore, which is good. It's good. Terrorism is going to be, for the most part, snuffed out. Wait for it. I talked about this in the Daniel series a long time ago. It's the West versus the East. The westernmost beast is a ferocious beast. It has iron teeth and copper claws. And that's what you're seeing with the mother of all bombs. That bomb was a real mother. And it's destroyed the Tinker Toys of the terrorists. And our bombs are so smart that there were no civilian casualties. We worked with the Afghan government. Yes, this little network, this big network actually, of Islamic terrorists was operating apart from the Afghan government. It was in Afghanistan, but the Afghan government doesn't want them in there any more than we want them or the world wants them. I know some people would say, but some of the terrorists got killed. Yeah, 94 of the terrorists got killed. That's a good thing. We need to kill all of them. Don't you understand that? Lawless killers, murderers, they don't understand negotiation. You can't talk to them. Don't you remember in the Old Testament? There was capital punishment. There was stoning. There was retribution for things that you do wrong. This is healthy in a healthy society. Even in the kingdom, the 1,000 years of peace, quote unquote. Why is it peaceful? And no, I take the air quotes off. Take them off. Take them off. It's peaceful because judgment is rendered speedily. Nobody's waiting 20 years in the court system for their case to be heard. And criminals are executed and cast. They're executed summarily, and they are cast, their corpses, that is, are cast into Gehenna, the Gehenna of fire. Jesus talked about Gehenna. Better to cut your right hand off than have it offend, or pluck out your left eye, than to have it offend and to be cast into the Gehenna of fire, where their worm is not dying. What does that mean? It means there are worms. It means what it says. There are worms in there and they won't die until they consume all the corpses. This is not the Christian version of hell. All right. I gotta, before I read on and about the gems and some great details about the gems and the New Jerusalem, which is luminous, and its whole glory is the pleasure it brings to those who are on the new earth. They're not just looking at it as if it's, oh, this is really expensive. I remember the Catholic priest in my church, he actually put in the church bulletin that we had our marble appraised. We had our marble appraised at St. Joan of Arc Catholic Church in Canton, Ohio. This was Father Homer G. Oliver, and he said, we have very expensive marble from Italy. And he boasted about the marble. And who gives a crap about the marble? That was an example of having a thing because it's great or because it's expensive and you just want to look at it and touch it. No, God is into the experience of broadcasting his glory, and he does it through the means of translucent gems through which light shines, and it casts a fantastic glow, an aura of happiness upon all the inhabitants, and they become happy. The marble at my church did not make anyone happy. It wasn't translucent. What? I was asked if I thought the New Jerusalem was going to be like Disneyland. Yeah, in a way, I guess you could say it's going to be like Disneyland. I've never been to Disneyland. I have no desire to go to Disneyland, but I'll take that back. I put it this way. It'll be more like driving up on Cincinnati at night from the south, from I-71 from the south. And as you approach Cincinnati, it looks like Oz. It's a city, and it has, yeah. No, Columbus isn't bad either, coming up from the south. From the north, not so hot. But if you're coming up from the south on I-71 at night, either into Cincinnati or Columbus, you have a city that looks luminous. The lights are fantastic. They have different colored lights. And so it's the effect, the entire effect you see. That's what we're going for here. Now, there's a conference. I'm going to officially announce the conference in Birmingham, Alabama on May 26th, 27th, and 28th. All right? May 26th. If you're listening to this broadcast during the tribulation, if you're an Israelite, ignore the next 2 minutes. The conference is already passed. And the body of Christ is in the heavens. There are no more conferences for the body of Christ. You're having your own conferences out in the desert. You're being sustained miraculously. Some of you are sealed. You're speaking of the 144,000. Welcome to the show. I hope I didn't sidetrack you too much with the Rudolph reference. Didn't mean to do that. But anyway, this conference, for those of you listening to my voice at present, is in Birmingham, Alabama. Put it on your calendar. Book your flights. This is going to be great. I'm going to be speaking there. Waylon Dabbs is going to be speaking, and Alan Hess of the Potter's House Fellowship in Faith, North Carolina. He's going to be speaking as well. And there could be 2 other speakers to be announced. We'll see. But Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday is an informal gathering at the home of the hostess. Going to give you her name and address and email address here, and then it's in downtown Birmingham at a garage. It's a great venue. If you go online, you look at some of my talks are broadcasts from this garage, but in the past we've had 25, 30, 40 people at this conference. It's a good one. Birmingham, Alabama. Friday, May 26th, Saturday, May 27th, Sunday, May 28th. This is Memorial Day weekend. I hope that doesn't screw anybody up. It might help a lot of people because they don't have to go to work on Monday, so they can hang out longer on Sunday. You need to contact Laura Johnston. That's not Johnson. There's a T in there. It's Johnston. Her email address is l.johnston, JOHNSTON, at sjetools.com. Yeah, simple email address, really. No, it's a little complicated. Let me repeat it. Don't forget the dot, L.Johnston at sjetools.com. Email her and tell her you're coming to the conference. You want to hear Zender, you want to hear Dabbs, you want to hear Hess, and we're going to talk about the grace, the glory of God. It's going to be great to get together with other believers. This is an established conference. We've done it before. People will come. Yes, we built it and they came, and they're going to come again on May 26th, 27th, 28th. Book your flight. It's a sealed deal right now. And on Friday evening, we are going to gather informally at Laura's house. She lives an hour outside of Birmingham. Nice little place in the country. Great place to have a glass of wine together and fellowship informally. That address is 1211. That's 1211 Highway 179, Altoona, Alabama 35759. Altoona. Altoona is not just in Pennsylvania, it's in Alabama. Altoona. Charlie's brother Al. 1211 Highway 179, Altoona, Alabama, 35759. Here is the address of the conference. This is the venue, as they say in Paris, the venue. It is 2233, otherwise known as 2233 6th Avenue South, Birmingham, where they love the governor, Alabama 35233. Now, tomorrow I'm going to be, so please come there. I want to see you. I'm going to go to a lot of trouble to get there. Don't disappoint me. Don't disappoint me. The structure of the city. I got 2 minutes here. I'm not going to quit early. I'm going to shove this information in here. This is A. Enoch writing about the structure of the city, the New Jerusalem. And remember, our expectation, our city is even better than this. This is going to be great. This is fine, but ours is better. Sorry, I hope I'm not insulting any Israelites who might be listening to this show during the tribulation. We are distinctly told that the architect of this city is God himself. Wow. God himself is the architect. Can you imagine what this city is going to be like? I can't read past the first sentence. I already have this comment in my mind. I'm thinking of, for one thing, the wine in Jerusalem during the millennium. The architect of that wine. Jesus said, remember, I will not drink of the fruit of the vine again. I will not drink again until I drink wine with you, speaking to his disciples in the kingdom. So the first thing Jesus is going to do when he returns to earth is he is going to make wine. He's going to be the architect of the best wine you've ever tasted. And I am putting my order in for a seat at that table in the millennium. I want that wine. I want that wine. I want to partake of it with Jesus and his 12 disciples. What a reunion that's going to be. I have my tickets. Advance sale tickets. I'm in. I requested it. I prayed. I want to be there. I will gladly leave my celestial home for the hour it takes to come down and partake of this festivity and taste the best wine you've ever had. This is going to be the ultimate vintage. And now apply that to the builder of the city of the New Jerusalem is God himself. He's the architect. My God, can you imagine the quality? Can you imagine the luminosity? Can you imagine the glory, the greatness, the technical marvels, the bridges, the traffic patterns, the intersections, the roads, the billboards along the roads? Everything about it is going to be masterful. We have a dim imitation of building here. We have nice buildings. I'm trying to think of a nice building. Well, if you go to Washington, D.C., you have a lot of beautiful buildings there. The Jefferson Memorial comes immediately to mind. The Lincoln Memorial is quite impressive. But these are just dim imitations of the ability of God to make a building. God's going to make an entire city with buildings. In the city, probably there's going to be shops. There's going to be little consignment shops, little restaurants, cafes. And boy, the New Jerusalem, and everything's going to be luminous. Your coffee mug is going to glow in the dark. But there won't be any dark. So it'll be glowing, and you won't even know it. Because the New Jerusalem has no need for the sun or the moon, because the glory of God infuses it and transfuses it. And did I say suffuses it? Yeah. The glory of God just ready to burst out of the seams. You could see it for 100,000 miles away. And don't think I'm not going to visit there too, because I am on a regular basis.